Great. Okay. Well, welcome to our Valtribe update and training and all of those wonderful things. You guys are going to get an earful of great announcements that are actually going to be announced tonight. And so without any further ado, what I'd like to do is turn the Zoom over to my good friend, John Haremza, and let him kind of take it from there. And I know Rick will be along here very shortly if he's not already on. And so, John, why don't I kick it over to you, buddy?
Okay, fantastic. Well, good evening, everyone. Hope you've had a fantastic week last week and excited about the new week. Of course, just a reminder, folks, and I think the link should be sent out shortly, but we have this weekend, Sunday, our big virtual event with Valentis, broadcast all over the world, hoping to have 2,000 people on that event. So make sure you pay attention to social media. Should be a link showing up in your back office soon. So make sure that you pay attention to that if it's not already there, and build for that. It's going to be a phenomenal. Dave has put a lot of work into making this a phenomenal event. Folks, what I want to do here, first off is we want to kind of get an update from Jeff Finn. He is on here, hear what the numbers are. And then I'm not sure, Jeff, if John Cram is going to, give us any news or any update at all. And then I'm going to talk more about, some training and some ideas. And then one of the announcements that Chuck was going to talk about was mentioning. And him and I and Rick spoke at length earlier today. And, as we're prospecting or following up, I should say, as we're following up on these leads coming in from the cold market funnel, and for that matter, even the warm market funnel, we want to create a place you can drive those people to that will be tailored, to the funnel. Okay, so we're going to do a Zoom every Thursday at, I think, what is it going to be, 10 p.m. Eastern time, 9 Central. What would that be, 7 o'clock Pacific time? And so as you're prospecting, so this is going to, talk about Valentis. This is for prospects, but one of the keys, I think, in making this work and work successful is all of us committing to be on that Zoom. All of us committing to be on that Zoom, sharing excitement, sharing testimonials, sharing the results. This is going to be a place we can drive our prospects looking at Valentis that we have generated through the funnel co-op, or for that matter, even those that we may have prospected through a warm market funnel. So that's one of the announcements we wanted to make. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jeff Finn to kind of give us an update on where we are on the co-op, what the traffic is looking like, and what the expectation might be there, in the upcoming days or week. Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah. Hey guys. Hey, everybody. I track the traffic every day and optimize the Facebook ad campaign. And here recently, this last week, we launched a large YouTube ad campaign that's doing the best, actually, better than Facebook. But this week we made kind of a major shift. We launched another rendition of the page. I think this is the 5th version. And this one really seems to be getting people to opt in a meaningful way. And I'm not talking a small shift. I'm talking like double. Like we've doubled our opt-in rate. And this is just a recent development, but this one's really, really crushing. And so now, I mean, Rick's so close to killing me, but now that we've got a solid audience, we've defined the lookalike audience down to the T. I went back in and refined that audience again at the beginning of this week, and we've got that audience just so tracked down. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start spending some money, and we're ready, and so we're gonna go, and so here we go, and so everybody, hold on to your hats. Watch your phones, and we're gonna go. We're gonna use YouTube. I also consulted with another group, a creative YouTube group that's gonna create us a killer kind of high energy YouTube video to get people back into this funnel, because I don't know if you guys have heard, but YouTube traffic right now is basically free. We can get people onto our page for less than a penny. And so we're going to use some of our money to test those waters a little bit, but I think they're going to be fruitful. And so I'm done optimizing for the most part. We're ready. I'm comfortable. I think we've refined everything we can refine. I think we've tuned everything we can tune. And so now it's time to go. And so that's where we are.
Okay, fantastic, Jeff. And so, folks, if you've maybe come in, into this, co-op a little bit late, or just kind of, bring you up to speed, we have this co-op. You can buy shares in the co-op. And that money that is being generated from the co-op is being used by Jeff and his team to optimize and to drive traffic through this funnel. And, for those of you who've been with us for the full time, we must be now coming up on 5 weeks or 6 weeks that we've been working on this. And, my optimism and my excitement, my belief in what we're doing here is still as high as ever and growing. And, I just appreciate your guys having patience as we go through this process, because Jeff has continued to reiterate, listen, I could just go take all the money we've collected and just throw it into, the social media and generate a whole bunch of leads, and most likely they would be crap leads. I mean, we know this funnel to produce quality leads of real people that have a real interest, that are one-off leads. And that's why it's taken so long to develop, as he calls it, the lookalike audience, this target audience, this optimizing to get the best quality of leads. So it sounds like from what he just shared with us, he's comfortable and he's ready to start to pour some gas on this thing. And so what Jeff, from a number standpoint, I know we've been generating like 15 leads a day, 20 leads a day. I mean, where do you see that over the upcoming days and into, let's say, next week?
Well, I mean, it's hard to predict that right now. From what I've seen yesterday and today, it's going to be well over. It should be well over that. Let's let it cook for 24 hours, and then I'll update you, and we can send out a estimate on that. But right now it's tough to tell.
Okay, our goal is to ultimately get people maybe like 3 leads a week that they can work on. At least more on the short term, and then as we grow and refine and ramp up, maybe as much as 1 lead a day. We're probably a little ways away from doing that. And realistically, guys, to follow up properly, okay, and build someone's belief and move them to a decision. I mean, it's not an instantaneous thing. I mean, it is a process. Bringing someone into the business is a process, and we're going to talk about that process a little bit more here as we go through. But thank you, Jeff. Appreciate everything you're doing to make this a huge success. Obviously, wouldn't work without you, without your expertise in this area. So thank you. Do we want to, John Cram, do you have any updates or news for us on your end from a number standpoint or anything at all?
I guess the part I've been working on more is creating a back office for everyone to be able to go into, to be able to see their stuff. So I'm about 30% done of getting something ready. So give me a couple more weeks to get that all pumping out and ready for people to get into. There was a little issue that came up with the warm funnels that a couple people had emailed me. We did get that resolved. There was some browsers or something that force things to be in an SSL type of thing. So went ahead and got that fixed. So if there was anyone that experienced that, that should be resolved. I mean, that's primarily what I've been working on for everyone. My role, if people don't know, is more of the integration piece and making things work behind the scenes. So, and so when people have some ideas, go ahead, shoot them my way, and we'll put them on the list of things if there's anything good. But I've been taking a lot of feedback from a lot of people, and it's good.
So John, that's the most important part, is making sure that everything works on the back end. So
yeah,
Hey, guys, I don't know how many people have got their warm market funnels. If you're actually using the warm market funnels, I've been using it extensively. And I have to say, and all I've been asking people to do is just check it out, right? Hey, check out this incredible system we just got done. Download the book and take a look. And the feedback that I've been getting now, it has, again, been a little bit of a process. People, for whatever reason, just they're so wrapped up with so many other things going on in their life with the COVID and children and on and on and on. So you got to be a little bit more patient than I am, and because they just don't get to it right away. So, but once they do, they love it. I mean, they just absolutely love it. So I'm increasing my activity on a daily basis. And I would encourage all of you to do exactly the same thing, because it really has been a home run. John?
Yeah, so, I want to talk about a couple things as it relates to the warm market funnel, and then I'm going to go into reviewing kind of this training that I put together that I sent out last week, I think on Wednesday. But two things as it relates to the warm market funnel. And I talked to Rick about this today, and John Cram, you might be able to verify this, but just be aware of this, okay? Right now, the warm market funnel is your username, right? .valtribe.com, okay? But if you change your username at Valentis, I don't believe that automatically syncs up. John, am I correct there?
It doesn't. So if you are changing your username, you'd have to let me know.
Yeah, so probably a good idea, I think, especially if you're actively using this, is I just checked mine again today just to make sure that it's going to the right spot. Okay, but if you go in and just for this group to know, as this begins to grow and expand, I mean, I know one person that has got a huge email campaign that he's sending out like 100,000 emails to through some list, and I just said, make sure your username is working, because he had actually changed his username, had to go back into the warm market funnel website and get a new one. Okay, and that would be what you would do there, John. Is that the best way to do that?
You could do that. You could go.
Okay, what's the other option?
If you bought a co-op and you change your username, you have to let me know so that I can go in and fix that.
Okay, so that's an extremely important thing to note, folks. That if you're changing your username, your funnel isn't warm market or co-op is not going to work. So make sure that you pay attention to that if that has happened. The next thing, guys, I had Rick sent me this, and I think he probably got it from John Cram, and it's basically the activity that has so far taken place through the warm market funnel. And I've been using the warm market funnel a ton. I mean, I'm sending it out to, I got a lady that I prospected, 3 years ago, right? And, I sent her a message that, hey, I don't know if you know what's going on with our company, but we got some new things happening. I've got something you've got to check out. And I texted her over that thing, and I'm in a conversation with her right now, big network marketer. And I've got several people that I personally have put into the pipeline using this warm market funnel. Okay, I'm also using it to re-excite some dead wood, some people that are in Valentis. But what was interesting is I got a message from Rick. He probably got it from John Cram, giving us the numbers of the warm market funnel, because these guys are all about analytics, right? It's all about analytics. And here's the numbers. Number one person using the warm market funnel is Chuck Hansen. Number two person using the warm market funnel, who's put the most numbers on the board using the warm market funnel, is Chris Lamont. Number three person is me. Okay, is John Arenza, number three, and then so I'm just going to go to three. But after three, the numbers drop considerably. And so, I mean, you know, we're probably 3 of the busiest people, but yet we're doing the most. And folks, I mean, you've got this warm market funnel in your hands. Every one of you have been in Valentis for a long time. If you don't have hundreds of people within your warm market, within people that you've prospected before that you can't get that out to, I mean, you are absolutely, you know, kidding yourself. I know Jim Rohn one time, I was listening to a tape here about, you know, about 4 months ago as I'm, you know, walking around Vegas here in this pandemic, and he talked about numbers don't lie. He says the numbers always tell the story. And that's what I responded to Rick with. I says, numbers always tell the story. Somebody says, I'm not having success, nobody's interested. Well, let's look at the numbers, because you're not doing anything, right? I mean, the bottom line is the warm market funnel doesn't work unless you get it in someone else's hands. I mean, that's the bottom line. Is it's designed to prospect people that you've once prospected before, to reignite, re-engage, to create a new interest in someone. So folks, you know, make it a point. I mean, you know, because we're not doing any of this for our own entertainment. Okay, we're doing this to help you guys build an organization. But the only way out of it's going to work on the warm market funnel is we have to use it. Okay, so go. I mean, we've all got a phone, and how many names do you have in your phone? 1,000, 5,000. Okay, if you can't find 100 people that you've talked to once before about Valentis, that you can't send a quick text message and say, guys, I mean, Valentis is blowing up. We've got something new and exciting. You've got to check it out, and send them that link. Okay, and guess what? You're notified when they look at it, right? I mean, guys, I mean, it's all about filling the pipeline. And that, I mean, if you picture the funnel, right? They don't do much unless we fill it. And so fill your own personal funnel. I don't mean to beat anybody up here, but I mean, I just looked at that and I just saw the top people in there, and you know, I'm crazy busy too, but I'm number 3 on the list, right? So anyway, that's to be said on that. The other thing, I printed it off right here, and I actually sent this to a designer, Sound Concepts, today, to say, hey, can you make this pretty for me? Put some graphics and pictures, and this is, you know, kind of the working document that we're using for follow-up. And you know, I know a lot of you haven't, you know, gotten a ton of leads yet. Hopefully you've all at least got 1 lead. But again, the fortune is all in the follow-up. The fortune is all in the follow-up, and getting that prospect. And I in this document I put together, I put scripts together on how to approach, how to build that rapport with that cold market prospect that came through the co-op funnel. And then there's, you know, scripts on what to say to stimulate an interest in someone that you've prospected before. I mean, so, you know, I encourage you to do what I've done. And John Cram, I'm going to send this back to you. I'm going to send this document back to you because I've made a few little enhancements to it. And if you could send it out again, guys, and print it out as I did, and, you know, review it. And this has got, I think, really the sequence on what you need to do to follow up with the cold market funnel as those leads become, as those leads are generated, and what to do on how to prospect somebody using the warm market funnel. So it's all right there. I'm not going to go into, you know, great detail right now on it, but I put some really good thought into it. I really think it's got a great sequence on how you can follow up with those cold market leads as they start to come in, and how you can use that warm market funnel and stimulate that interest without saying too much, and how you can move that person. Basically, it's exactly what I'm doing. Okay, what I've got in this document is exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so. With that, Chuck, I'll turn it back to you for some more comments and thoughts on your end.
Well, you know, John, I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, it's all in activity, right? I mean, you've just got to, and you're right. I mean, everybody's got thousands, or at least hundreds, if not thousands, of names, and it's just a matter of getting it out and getting in people's hands. And you just got to stay on them a little bit. Like I said, everybody's busy. Everybody's kind of consumed with the virus and everything. So just continue doing what you're doing, and you know, pick up your activity. I mean, set a goal. If you're going to contact 10 people a day, then contact 10 people a day, and don't stop until you do it. Over the course of a month, you've just now contacted 300 people. So that'll just pick up the activity. People are gonna download the book. They're gonna say, hey, this looks like a great opportunity. I'm going to go ahead and get pre-enrolled, and then start following that process of taking. And the Zoom, guys, the Zoom that we decided to do next Thursday is, we'll send out the link and everything, but it'll be right here on this Zoom platform. I'll increase the numbers so that we can go past 100 people, because I'd like to see a couple of hundred, 200, 300, 400 people on the Zoom. And John will go through a very simple presentation with some testimonials, and then we'll come up with a good recording, and we'll be able to use that recording as well as the live. So a lot of great things that are in. I'm just so happy that we're going to turn up the dial and start getting more activity. I know all of you have been chomping at the bit. I see the chat going. I see text messages that I get all the time about, let's go. I'm ready to go, coach. I'm ready to go. And so it's, it's happening. And, it has taken a little bit longer. I mean, all of these things, but, for what John Krem has done with respect to people getting their warm market funnel, and, go back to everybody that's bought a business builder pack and tell them, hey, I've been doing it, right? That all you've got to do is get qualified again, and you can then go get your warm market funnel, and now you've got a great tool to start prospecting with. So I've been having a lot of activity, a lot of success going back to people that may have dropped the ball for whatever reason, and just reacquainting them with what's going on. So I would encourage you to do exactly the same thing, and just get out to everybody. So John, that's all I've got right now. Did Rick join us yet or no?
I actually got a message from him earlier that he had a meeting or something and some prior obligations. I don't know if he's actually gonna.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Going to end up being on it. Guys, again, look for this in the next little bit. Print it off. It'll help you with the sequence, and it'll help you, give you some ideas on what to say, how to say it, how you should be doing the follow-up, how you should be building that rapport and stimulating that interest. And again, it's on the warm market funnel and on the cold market funnel. So it's got both, both instructions on both ways. But the one thing, folks, we're not in control of what's going to be generated through this cold market funnel. Through the co-op, we're not in control, right? That is based off of Jeff and doing everything he can to optimize and to maximize to create a quality lead, and we'll probably have spikes in activity and declines in activity, and he'll have to redo and optimize. He's committed to giving us great quality leads. Then it's in our hands. Then it's in our hands to convert, and to be prepared to do that. One of the things you'll find that I talk about in this is you need to be prepared to follow up and to do a good job. So understand this, but I'm incorporating the app, right? Because the app has all the videos, all the information, comp plan, everything in it to have you to help you do an effective job on the follow-up process. Okay, but the one thing we are in control of is our warm market funnel. Okay, we're in control of that, and I am using it. I'm using the warm market funnel every day as I'm out there prospecting, as I'm sitting around bored, I'm scrolling through my phone, and I mean this on Sunday, I bet I sent it to 20 people, right, with just a quick little note. Hey, you got to check this out, and sometimes I'll start it out with, I'll just like say Mitch. Let's say Mitch, I prospected him 2 years ago. And I I don't send it initially. I'll send Mitch a thing. Hey, Mitch, how you doing? John Haremza here. In case, for some reason he doesn't have my name in his contact list, I say, hey, Mitch, this is John Haremza. Just checking in with you. How's everything with you? Right? So I'm not initially just sending the link. Okay. And then and then it might be an hour or so that he'll reply. Then I'll hit him back, say, what are you doing nowadays? So I'm doing the same, and these are people I might have not talked to in 2 or 3 years. I'll say, what are you doing nowadays? And he'll say, oh, I'm doing this. I'm really excited about it. And say, listen, I'll hit him back, say, listen, we've got, or he'll ask me what I'm doing, and I'll come back and say, hey, I just had my best year ever. I'm with a company that's just absolutely blowing up. We got something new. It's something you've never seen before. Let me send you a link. Right? The key to getting people to click on stuff is curiosity, right? Is curiosity. And so, practice with this, but I always, just to send a link, hey, check this out, most likely isn't going to work. Okay. Maybe in some cases it will, but if you take the approach of building that little bit of rapport, I haven't talked to Mitch in 2 years. I prospected him 2 years ago. And, just, hey, Mitch, just came across your name on my phone, and thought I'd just say hi and see how you're doing. This is John Haremza, and then see if he responds, right? Because it's warm. I'm just asking, I'm engaging him. And then, what are you up to nowadays? How are things going? And then you lead into, have fun with it. I just sit on a couch and watch TV and do this, and so, I don't know, Chuck, what are you doing in the warm market funnel? Are you doing something similar to what I'm doing, or?
Absolutely. Just basically the same thing. And like you said, John, I'd rather do that than watch any TV. There's just nothing on. Or if I'm sitting there in the room kind of watching TV, I'm always on the phone, right? I'm always sending something out. My wife is always, she said, why don't you ever put that damn phone down? I go, well, it's my business, right? This is, what did we ever do before we had a phone? I can't even imagine. So it's, it is just reacquainting yourself and getting people back in the loop again. I saw a little video today, and I'm going to send it out to everybody because it was so appropriate. It's just a little 10-minute video. And in this video, the person that was doing the video talked about, everybody, no matter how and who they are, is under a tremendous amount of stress right now, tremendous amount of stress. So, anything that you can do to kind of be that shining light, everybody needs a little hope. Everybody needs a little encouragement. Everybody needs a little bit. I was sitting around today and, not feeling particularly, it goes back to who pumps up the pumper, right? Who, gives you your juice to do what you do, right? And I was feeling, not like I had a lot of juice. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, I get this amazing text message from a good friend who's been on the sideline, and he just kind of outlined it. And I said, that's the juice. That's exactly what I needed in my life right then, was this little bit of juice. And I told him that. And so it's, be that little spark of hope and inspiration for people, because they're struggling out there. And, millions and millions and millions of people out of work, and kids running around rampant around in their house. And, alcohol sales have gone through the roof, and gun sales have gone through the roof. And, so we have to be the stabilizing factor that, hey, there's something great happening, and you really need to take a look. Hope your life is well, and, and just come over and take a look. So I'm excited about the Zoom next Thursday. John's going up for the event on Sunday. He's headed to to Sioux Falls. So he'll be live in person up there with everybody else. You guys all going to wear a mask or no masks?
I guess masks. I mean, probably not when we're on camera, but you know.
Yeah, yeah. And then you're off to go Harley Davidson riding for a while, which is very cool. And you need every so often you got to have that break. You got to stop and smell the roses, right? And do all those things that, because you just never know, guys. I mean, life is so short. You're here today and gone today sometimes. I mean, you know, it's just that's how things are. So hopefully that won't be that way in our life. But hey, Mark.
Hey, no, I was just going to say I wanted to thank John Haremza for that little kick in the butt. I just sent out about 15 texts right away. I'll see if I can get up on that list there. But thanks for that little kick in the butt. Like you said, sometimes you got to pump the pumper, right? So appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, guys, I don't have anything else unless anybody's got any questions or anything. I mean, we can certainly do that. John, you got anything else?
Yeah, why don't we go ahead and open it up for anyone that has any questions or any comments, since we've got a little bit of time left here. If anybody has any questions, or if they've got a story like I've got with my warm market funnel. I mean, I've got several active prospects re-engaged, some of which are 2 years old, re-engaged, and I mean, two things as you guys think about that, if you want to comment. As Chuck talked about, and Mark just commented on, to pump the pumper. We all need this, okay? We all need to be plugged in. I need to be plugged in. If I get away from something, it's just human nature. You start slipping. You start slipping, and you want to keep your saw sharp. And I mean, even when I'm on that motorcycle ride, I mean, I'm sharpening my saw by letting go for a few hours when I'm riding bike. But guess what I'm doing in the morning as I'm having my coffee before I start riding? I'm on my phone. I'm doing messages, I never let it go. Success leaves clues. I mean, folks, everybody wants something, but very few people are willing to do what it takes to get it. Right. And you don't make a boatload of money in anything without effort and consistency and focus. Right. And so one of the things I always do in my life, my whole career, is I constantly am doing a personal checkup. And if I start feeling down, like I don't know if I like the word juice, but I mean, if I'm feeling, like that's getting low, I mean, I catch it and I start listening to Jim Rohn, and I start, forcing myself onto a call or watching a video, doing something to bring that back up, because people at the end of the day, when that hot process, what they say, luck is when luck is when opportunity meets preparedness. When that number one prospect happens upon you, you don't want to be low on juice. Right, Chuck, you want to be ready to convert and show your conviction, your excitement, your belief, and so on. So I just wanted to reiterate that, Chuck, because as you mentioned it, I mean, we all go through it. We all have those little bit of feeling of draining. So anybody want to jump in and share anything?
I have two questions. One, is this just for the United States? The leads?
I missed that, Amy. When you were talking, there was some noise.
Are the leads just for the United States? Can people in other countries do this?
Well, I believe the leads are just in the United States, but people in other countries, like I have some people that I'm working with that are out of the country, and I said, hey, I've got something for you if you're wanting to prospect in the United States. We're also right now in the process of possibly converting this whole thing over to Spanish as well. It will probably be another 6 weeks for that, but right now the book is almost translated into Spanish, and we're probably going to create a Spanish funnel.
And then my other question is, when you get a lead and they don't respond, how many times do you reach out to them?
You're talking about cold market?
Yeah.
And are you just texting or are you calling?
Well, one time I got a voicemail, and the other time I text.
Okay.
Michael's saying 7. No, seriously, like what do you do every 2-3 days? Do you leave them alone?
Yeah, I mean, they're cold market, and so, I would probably just, keep dripping on them.
Like
You
every
know,
couple days?
no, the only thing my suggestion is that you continue to drip on them until they buy, until they die, or until they opt out, right? So it's just,
Does that include
know,
your warm market?
yeah, I mean, the same thing. I mean, it's just, again, people are stressed out. People are way too busy, and we just can't expect them to stop. And oh, I can't believe that I just got this thing from Amy, and I'm going to answer her back right now. It just won't happen. And so you just got to take things in perspective, and just kind of slide into their life. I sent, I send all of them a little note, and, little things, and, maybe something that I send will catch their attention. And, if it does, it does. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. They'll get something the next day.
Yeah, and the thing of it is it's all, it's personal time in many cases in their case. I mean, how many times have you been, where you've either saw something online or you thought about buying something, and then you kind of forget about it for a while, and then it pops back up, and then finally the timing is right where you act on it. So, staying in, keeping it in front of. In the warm market, I'd be a little bit more cautious, but in the cold market, it's already as bad as it gets, right? They're not in your business and you don't know them. So, it isn't going to be anything worse than that. You might, have them click on it one day.
Okay.
So with your warm market, what kind of things would you say to them in a text or an email to remind them about what you sent them?
Well, again, in the warm market, it depends on if you know them really well, if you spoke with them and then they're expecting that. Okay, then they know, and so I would probably give them a couple days to look at it. If they haven't clicked on it, then I'd maybe hit a reminder, because what happens when you send someone a text, right? And if maybe they'll open it, but they're not ready to click on it, right? Maybe they're distracted, maybe they're driving, right? Maybe maybe they're headed on vacation or something. You don't know they're headed to work, and they open it, look at it, and then all of a sudden they get 25 more texts, and now it's moved way down in the list and it slipped their mind. So sending them that text puts it back at the front of the list, right, on that text. So think about that as well. So again, I think to answer your question, it's if they're what that relationship is, if you spoke with them, or if it's somebody that that you're reconnecting with after 2 years. Again, I wouldn't just send them a link, check this out. I would check in with them. Hey, Chuck, how are you doing? Haven't talked in several years. What's going on in your life? Build a little rapport, and then they're always going to ask you how things are going with you, what's going on with you, and then that opens the door. If they don't, you hit them back, say, I'm sure you're wondering what I'm up to. I got something really exciting. So have some fun with it, but build that rapport. People by people, and so I always think about that as I'm prospecting.
Yeah, one of the things that I let all my friends know is that the system, it's such a cool system. It will tell me the minute you open that and start looking at it. It'll text me a note, and now I put them on the spot, right? I put them on because now they have to look at it. But that's just for people that I know real well, that I can get away with those kind of things. So.
Chuck?
Go ahead, Bob.
What do you guys suggest? I've sent my warm market emails out, link out, and I would have expected some stuff in. So what's the best method to check that the link that we have is working?
Just click on it. Like if you send it to somebody, it usually hyperlinks, so you can just click on it and check out your own funnel. Check out your own funnel and click through. It should say your name on it, on the right when you click through to the power line. Your name should pop up, as welcome to, you know, and it should have your number there right before the power line, right on top of where they watch the power line video. So, you know, click on your warm market funnel to make sure that it's working, right? And if you're dealing with people that aren't, you know, like for instance, this lady I'm prospecting, you know, her name is Mindy, and she hadn't looked at the funnel yet. Okay, I've been building rapport, and then she, you know, and I'm just telling her I've got something excited. I have sent her the link, but she hasn't clicked on it. I talked to her today. I found out that the company she's with, her income is down 80%. And I says, you know, and then I had a Zoom I had to do, and I says, hey, I got to go. Let's connect later. I called her, I texted her later after my Zoom, and she says, you know, hey, I'm in Home Depot right now. I'm buying tile for my, you know, she must be doing something remodel or whatever. And I said, hey, she says, let's talk tomorrow, which is tomorrow. I said, you know, here's that link again. Watch this, look at this, because you're not going to believe it. No one has this. Look at this before we talk, right? So again, people's lives are busy. You need to understand that. Very few people are, you know, on the edge of their phone waiting to get your text, right? I mean, you have to have patience in this kind of thing. You have to have patience and give people time. And if you know them really well, you know, and you've sent them a link and they haven't opened it, call them. You know, hey, Amy, I know we haven't talked in a while. I sent you that link. You haven't looked at it. I don't know if, you know, you're just crazy busy in life right now, or you just don't have an interest. Regardless, you need to check it out. I mean, you need to look at it.
My question was, how do I check to make sure that my warm market funnel is working just by clicking on it and it's going to send me something?
Send it to yourself.
Send it to myself.
Bob, I'll go to your email that I got. I'll click on it and you'll know it's working. You'll get a text message. Yeah.
That's thank you, Chuck.
You do bet.
Can I ask a question very quickly? I'm in Australia, so I've put something in the chat line there just to ask, like, I'm interested. I've had the information sent out 4 weeks ago, and I just haven't actually asked the question. So being in Australia, we're on a different time zone, and then the cost of actual international calls and things like that, is this system actually worthwhile to invest in? And I'm happy to invest. I've got other people that want to as well. How does it work for being on a different time zone like that when it's developed primarily at this point in time for America and Canada on that side of the equator?
Well, I mean, I think your prospecting would be, you know, if you're doing the cold market, they'd be coming out of the United States or North America. And, you know, you're right. I mean, you know, the phone service is probably not going to be cost effective for you to prospect people. So I would probably use email at that point.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
But if you have an interested person, tap into somebody, your upline, you know, warm market, your upline here that, you know, can maybe reach out to them, you know, if you got somebody hot.
So if you're investing like at the top, which is $400 US, and you're going to get, the more that you invest, the more leads that you're going to have sent to you. Is that the way that I understand it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
But it doesn't mean you're going to get inundated with leads, because it's still going to rotate through. You'll end up, yeah, I mean, they're going to fulfill. If you got, you know, 20 or 45 leads coming, you'll get 45 leads, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it might take a month to get them.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
John, Melody Shawchuck here. Just a question or a response to what Jackie said as far as phone service. Again, the timing might be different as far as the United States, but couldn't you use like WhatsApp where there wouldn't be a cost for a call?
Yeah, you probably could. Yeah, I'm sure, because I mean, WhatsApp's a normal number. If you have it, well, I think you just register your own cell number with WhatsApp, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, to use WhatsApp. And plus, you know, I mean, our business is, you know, I mean, you can be in the middle of the night, you know, texting people, you know, in your daytime, and they're middle of the night and they wake up to it. Or maybe they can't sleep.
Hey guys, any other questions before we call it a night? Get back to
I do actually
prospecting. Hey, Kathy.
I do actually have one, Chuck. I know that we said that it's people in the United States, but gosh, the lead that I got, I think, is from India.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Well, that's great. There's a lot of people in India.
Yeah.
So about 200 million of them have to be fat. I work in IT, so I know a lot of Indian guys. And they keep saying, you know, what about India? What about India? And I'm still trying to get answers off people.
Yeah, I know their advertising and their marketing is geared towards the United States. So, you know, I'm sure that, you know, through the internet, something can be forwarded or, you know, who knows?
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, hey, I appreciate everybody being here. John, thank you very much. John Krim, if you're still, yeah, you're still on. Thank you very much, buddy. And I see everybody else is gone. So, hey, with that, next Tuesday and then also next Thursday, right? So next Tuesday, we'll have an update, just same place, same time. And next Thursday, we will have a live Zoom. We'll get this bolstered up so we can have 300 or 400 people on here, and we will do a live Zoom. So prospect, warm market, cold market, you know, everybody onto the Zoom. So with that, John, have a great trip up to South Dakota. Give Dave a big birthday kiss, and and wish that I was gonna go up there with you. So, hey, God bless everybody. Be safe, and let's all do some heavy prospecting. Okay, guys.
Thanks, Chuck and John. You were awesome.
Good night, everybody. Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Thanks, Chuck. Thanks, John.